Hey, hope everybody's had a chance to read your minutes and operating statements from December and financial report for November from Quantrum. If so, we are in line for a motion to approve.
Where's that one? All right, I'll make a motion, we approve the operating statement for December 16th to 2013 council meeting minutes and Quantrum financial statements for November 2013.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Noes? Motion's carried. Okay. Under the mayor's report, we didn't have a lot of extra meetings this month with the county with the holidays and the bad weather. I am happy to say that the property at North Main Street and actually South Main Street and Locust Street has been sold and settled for on Friday. The gentleman says that he and his wife want to tear down the little house, clean that piece of property up, and then the big house, they want to start on the outside renovating it so that it looks presentable on the corner, and then they're going to start working on the inside, and they plan on moving in it. So it's going to be a project they're going to be working on, so it's going to, I think it's going to take them quite some time, but it's going to be a real uplift for this end of town. So I told the gentleman that we would help out as much as we could as far as helping him with his permits and everything that he needs, because everybody's complained so long about what this property looks like. And I think now is the time for us to do whatever is necessary to make sure that we don't be a burden to him while he's trying to get something done there. It was there for a long time for sale, and then all of a sudden there's two different parties that were interested in it. So one gentleman wanted to make a duplex there, and this gentleman, he and his wife want to move into it. So hopefully within a year or so, we're going to have a really nice property on the corner. That's about all that I have right now that I can think of. We'll just go on down to John's report.
Okay, I am going to speak briefly to the FY 2015 Capital Improvement Program, and I'm passing around Resolution 01-14, which is essentially the standard resolution updated that Council has used from year to year to approve the Capital Improvement Program. The substance of the program, I believe, was distributed to you shortly after it was approved by the Planning Commission earlier this month. It's very simple and straightforward. You know, economic times being what they are, there aren't any surprises in this, and it's scaled down. It does have a narrative of all of the major capital projects in town, you know, including current status, and to a small extent, some of the, you know, planned improvements that stretch out over the next 6 fiscal years. And that is, the actual funding proposal is contained on the last page, which again is very, you know, straightforward. So this does not require a public hearing. It was discussed publicly at the Planning Commission. So it would be up, if the council is comfortable and ready, would be up for your action tonight, or because it still is January, we do have time. So if council desires to spend a little more time with this, we could bring it back next month.
Well, I think it's pretty, like you say, it's pretty cut and dry because of the funding issues that we are faced with these next couple of years. And I think Dawn did get it out to us right after the Planning Commission meeting. I think everybody's had a chance to read over it. You know, it's not a lot of changes we can make when we don't have any money. So hopefully one of these days the economy will get better and we can do a little bit more. And that's, up to the council. Are you satisfied? Are you comfortable with trying to pass it tonight, or you want to study it some more?
Satisfied with it? I've read it.
Okay. Okay, well, if you're satisfied, we need a motion, resolution number 01-14.
Okay, I'll make a motion that resolution number 01-14, we accept the,
CIP?
CIP.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Noes? Motion's carried.
Pass the original over to the mayor for his signature.
Wish we can always do like O'Malley, think up some kind of tax somebody, get some extra money.
Yes, one other thing I'll bring forward from the Planning Commission meeting is that Ned Cuman presented a summary and a plan of the Lehigh conveyor system that's been given to the Planning Commission for comment on a courtesy basis because it's just outside of town. And there were two comments that we sent back to the county. One was that, there's going to be a bridge out there near the plant, and the concern was the site distance. What were the abutments that were going to hold the bridge? How close were they going to be to the road and to the intersection? So it's more in terms of a question, a concern, and apparently the plans are not detailed enough at this point to show that. So I think there'll be probably some attention given at the county level to get some more detail for the town. And then there was a question about any noise, which the understanding is there's very, very little noise. But it was also brought to our attention subsequently that when the county passed the ordinance, the zoning ordinance, that is going to allow conveyor system in certain zones, that there are decibel level limitations on that. So we've also asked for some kind of recitation from Lehigh as to what their decibel level is expected to be. But I'm sure that since the county has set standards, that Lehigh can certainly, has anticipated that, and we would expect they could easily meet those standards. So if it's still in the comment stage, if anybody does have a question or wants to forward a comment through to the county, you probably want to talk to Ned first, just so there's a central person that's controlling the information. But now would be the time to do that.
Perry and I went up to Pennsylvania where they had one of these above-ground conveyors, and you got to be within 10 feet to even hear it run.
That's what Alan.
That's what
Alan
Alan
must
was
have gone
saying.
with you.
It might have been.
And
I
that's
mean,
what Alan reported
it's
to the
not
Planning
even-
Commission.
It's not even an issue, really.
Yeah, I know at that time there was some of the New Cap people that went on that trip, and they were concerned with vibration and noise, and the one part of it, we were standing right on top of it where it was underneath the highway, underneath the street, and you couldn't feel anything. And then, like you say, it was like from here to that wall, in the back of the room is when you could, it was in these people's actually backyard going through there, and you really have to get right upside of it to hear it. So I think it's to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, considered having trucks or railroad doing it.
Well, my thought was that there didn't appear to be anything to confirm that. In other
Right.
words, there was a demonstration and all looked fine, but we weren't being given information to
Right.
confirm it. But that was a concern before I realized that they had put a standard into the zoning ordinance, so it's going to have to meet that
Right.
standard anyway. And like I said, it's more than likely going to be easily below that sound level standard, but at least, you have the comfort of knowing that it has to meet that standard. It'll be a zoning violation otherwise.
Yes.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Okay, Jared.
Okay, most of the new grants that the town's been working on, I have included in my report. And I've updated you on most of them as of last month as well. But I did want to go over one thing, the top paragraph here. Stanbos has begun, as you all know, putting the water main through the Phase 2 of West Broadway. I'm hearing they may be finished as early as tomorrow, or Thursday, tomorrow or Wednesday, excuse me. And once they've finished that, I will get Richard, the project engineer, to come down and we'll do the pressure test. So we've already scheduled that. We're not exactly sure what day that'll be yet. It'll kind of be up to see when Stanbos will be completed, but it should be any day now that they'll get that in there. And Richard has said he'll come and do that with us. Once that's finished and Richard gives it okay, we'll start the laterals, putting the laterals in. So I will be in touch with Don Perry. I'll let you guys know. I'm sure Stanbos will call you too, to kind of keep you updated as well. But any days that maybe we can set up a day while they're doing that, we can kind of all go down there and see how they're doing. We're not exactly sure what they look like yet, all of them anyway, which ones need to be replaced and which ones don't, which is the same thing that we did in the first phase as well. We kind of, once we could look at it, we would decide if they need to be replaced or not. So we'll kind of do the same thing here in the second phase. So I'll definitely be in contact with you guys, kind of when they update me. I've asked them to kind of email me a preliminary schedule each week, and we've been doing that. So when I get those, I'll make sure I update Dawn and you guys about it. Okay? Do you have any questions on this project?
No, it seems to be going pretty smooth out here.
Yeah, now that they really got out there and dug everything up, it's going pretty quickly. And like I said, Dwayne said maybe even tomorrow they might be able to kind of wrap things up with the main itself. So that's great. Yeah. Does any other questions, Ron?
Yeah,
Bill?
well, I lived down there for 35 years. Like to me, those drains were always clogged up at the end of the street before you go on, like, or do not get away into the two letters.
On the phase that they're working on now, up to the dead end,
Oh, really?
the first phase, the in between Warehouse Alley and White Street,
No.
Between
Stop
White
sign.
Street and
through the dead end.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I mean there are some drainage issues there, but that's not part. The drainage itself is not part of the grant, that work.
I think when they put that sewer system in there, they shut them drains off down in that underneath the ground.
It
I heard
could be.
somebody say that.
And, I mean, it could be. We haven't really looked at that yet, just because that's not this phase of the project is not going to be worked. The drainage is not going to be worked on. But the town is aware of that, the drainage problems. Well, I know Don and I have talked about it, yeah, and it's one of those things. It's just you kind of have to phase these out a little bit, just because it's so expensive to do streetscapes all at once. So we're just trying to phase it out, get the underground work done first, and kind of progress from there. But I've seen it. I mean, you can see the stone and everything on top of the street when it rains. So I know we have talked about it. It's tough to, it's one of those things. It's tough to do everything at once. You kind of just have to phase it out and do the best you can.
Well, like we were saying, when we blacktop, we'll have to address
Right.
that area.
Right.
Get the water, because the base of part of your house comes down a bit further than this. So it needs to be regraded and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was aware that there's drains all the way to the other end.
Just the drain where it drains there at the stop sign.
Yeah. It runs all the way to that, of the street, from the dead end, all the way down.
I don't think there is any other drainage other than the one by the stop sign. He's saying all the way by White Street.
Okay.
The dead end to the stop sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at the stop sign.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the two drains there, but
That's the only one that.
right. Yeah.
Ain't no other.
So it is an issue, definitely. Just like the first phase was an issue with that drainage. I know we've talked about it before. It's just one of those things that we kind of had to phase this project out as best we could and get the underground work done first.
Right.
Town can do what they can from there. Is there any other questions? No? Okay, well, that's it for me, thank you.
Okay, we'll get into public comments and concerns. Anyone? We don't have anybody here from the rec council tonight. Okay, we'll go to committee reports. We'll start with Laura.
I turned the breaker off for the Christmas tree lights, and then I called the power company to have them turned off. And I was made aware of a light that is out on 75 at Vintage Restoration, and I am aware of it, but I have to climb up the snow-covered hill to get to the pole number. So I'm going to wait.
I'd wait a while.
I'm clumsy on dry land. I'm trying to just wait my time, so hopefully it'll melt soon enough, and I'll get up there and get the pole number. But it is dark at that intersection, so I'll do it as soon as I can.
Okay,
And that's all I have.
okay. Mayor?
Couple things. It seemed like people blowing the snow back down the road after snowplow goes through and throwing it out in the snow, and a lot of sidewalks hadn't been cleaned. like
They
that.
constantly do that. I mean, I see people, every time it snows, they either shovel their snow out in the street or they use their snow blowers, and it's unfortunate. I mean, unless we wanted to sit around and just go around and find people for it, but I think every other municipality has the same problem. It's just that people's ignorance, they do the same thing in the wintertime or in the summertime, and they mow their grass and they blow their leaves out in the street and clog up the storm drains, and that's just something that we're not gonna solve unless we start going around, follow them around and find them for it. But it's a very unfortunate thing. I think between Selby and Jimmy, they are going around trying to keep an eye on the sidewalks that aren't being cleaned in the appropriate time. But there again, if people aren't cleaning the sidewalks, we have to get either Jimmy or Selby to clean them or somebody to clean them, and then we charge it to them on their tax bill or something. And, you know, that's another thing that we have to really be looking out for. But, and then again, you know, sometimes some of these people, I mean, you shouldn't have to go do it for them, but sometimes you know, a little bit of embarrassment on your neighbor or somebody, you go over and they don't clean your sidewalks, you go over and start doing it in front, and say, what are you doing? You say, well, you're too lazy to do it for yourself, so I'm gonna help you. Sometimes you put them in a spot and embarrass them, that they come out and do something. But as far as blowing snow in the street, it's unfortunate they do it. I think Donald had a conversation with State Highway the other week about cars parked on Main Street, so it's just an unfortunate situation that every town has problem with. Oh,
Okay, well, want me to bring that up about State Highway and the meters, or let it go?
yeah, I'd let that go.
All right. All I'm doing is cleaning snow. Seems like every week. My budget's getting less and less, so pretty soon we're gonna be out of money, so we'll see how it goes. Stanball is still continuing doing it. We've had some issues, but majority of the time, they're doing a good job. Sometimes they get a different guy other than Opie, and they miss Ally here and there, but I'm very satisfied, and they're always prompt. Every time I call them, whether it's on a weekend or whatever, someone's out here to address the issues that anyone has. So if anybody has any issues, feel free to call me. Not a problem. So, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Don.
I've had a couple phone calls about frozen pipes since our last meeting, and they've been fixed. So, and on the snow removal on the streets and stuff, there have been a couple young people from town going around and not asking for money, just being generous to the elderly and people that can't get out. I've noticed it. They help me at my shop. I mean, they help me in the town parking lot. So, I mean, there are people out there that are really helping each other, and, you know, which I think is completely awesome. And the Planning and Zoning Commission met on the 16th, and as we all know the CIP was approved by all. Bobby Moser, the county planner, also told us that the water and sewer master plan was county approved and has been hand delivered to the MD, and they're awaiting approval from the state. So,
Okay. Okay. Donald, I think you,
Okay, I got two other issues. We're going to put signs, no parking, on East Thomas Street from Leitner up to Bellevue. We've got an issue going up there, people parking on both sides of the street, and it gets a little tight. I even run a bus up there, and it's kind of hard to get through at times. So we will be putting signs up there. But also, we have purchased a, down at the trail, it's little baggies for dog waste. The bag's going to be there. There's going to be a trash container. And I'm hopefully that people will abide by and clean up after their animals. And, because I walk that trail also. And it really not, I walk a lot at nighttime, and I don't really care to be walking in dog waste. So I'm hoping they'll, even though we got a lot of meadow down there and those dogs run, we got kids also go out in that grass and play and run when they walk that trail. So it's important not just clean it off the trail, but also clean it wherever their dogs feel free to do whatever they want to do. So I'm hoping they'll use it. We'll, as soon as the weather gets permittable, Selby or Jimmy will install that.
going to get permission to do that? You ran into a little problem with your benches.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone else that has anything for us this evening? Ellen's not here, and this went really quick. Not saying that Ellen talks a lot or anything, but it's just that she doesn't have anything to bring up. If we have nothing, once we close this meeting, or before we close this meeting, I need a motion to go into closed session to have legal counsel with a water issue that we're having. So if we have nothing else this evening for the public meeting, we need a motion to adjourn and then also go into closed session for legal counsel.
which comes first?
Okay, I'll make a motion, we close, and I'll make a motion that we go into closed session to address some water issues.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion to close our regular meeting. All those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Noes? Okay, motion to go into closed session for legal counsel for water issues. Need a motion for that. Do them separately. I guess that'd be the proper way.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into closed session with legal counsel to address a water issue.
Okay,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Noes? Okay, motion's carried. All right, and we will convene to the back room.
In there with the equipment.
We're going to go.